So to learn about direct and indirect object pronouns, I always use the same sentence, which I find pretty easy. So hopefully for you it's easy as well. Sentence is, yo tiro la pelota.
Is that the ball?
Usted. Yeah, I throw the ball to you. Okay, pretty basic sentence. Good. So, to talk about the direct object, it is whatever's being directly influenced by the verb. Okay, so whatever's being verbed. In this case, the verb is to throw, so whatever's being thrown. So, the ball. Right. So this is our direct object. Okay? Now the indirect object of the sentence is also receiving the action of the verb, but indirectly. So they're not technically being verbed, but they are receiving the action. Okay? So usted is receiving the ball, but is not being thrown. Okay? Hopefully. Indirect object. Okay? So we have sets of pronouns to replace these in the sentence to simplify and to avoid redundancy. Okay, just like in English, we wouldn't say the ball every time. We'd start to say it. I threw it to him.
Which would be la.
Right, right. So our sets of pronouns for direct objects are me, nos, te, lo, la, los, las. Okay? So to replace our direct object, we have to choose one of these, right? So since pelota is feminine and singular, we have to choose feminine and singular pronoun. Okay, so I'll just write it up here. We can replace all of that with la. Okay? With indirect objects, we also have another set of pronouns. Luckily for us, these three are all the same in any type of pronoun. Me, te, and nos are always the same, no matter what.
That's like me and less.
And then down here, these change to le and les, singular or plural. So we'll use the same box in our conjugation tree as usted, which is le. Okay.
If it was ella, would it be la? Or just you just keep it le?
No, yeah, le. And unless ella was a direct object, then we could use la.
Okay.
Okay. In this case, the person is indirect. People are most likely going to be indirect objects.
Okay.
Okay. So we can replace usted with le. Okay. Now we have this other rule called NC Pig. North Carolina Pig. Right.
Is this really worth memorizing? Like did you use this in your mission ever?
Oh yeah, you're gonna need to memorize
Really?
this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because this rule is used for all pronouns:
Okay.
direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, reflexive pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're gonna need to know
Okay.
if you want to sound educated. You know,
Okay.
if you don't, then you know.
I sound like a greenie.
That's up to you. Okay, so these stand for negative commands, conjugated, positive commands, infinitive, and gerund forms.
A-N-D-O, right?
Hmm?
A-N-D-O at the end for gerund. Is that what it is?
Ando and yendo, yeah. So this is the equivalent to the ing of English. Okay? The infinitive is a verb that's not conjugated, so in the normal non-conjugated form. Okay? So if this line represents the verb, if the verb is in either of these tenses, the pronouns that we're going to use will come before the verb. Okay? If they're in any of these tenses, the pronouns will come after.
Where does... I think I get it. So if you were to attach it to a verb, it would be in the infinitive form for you to be able to do that.
You mean attached at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll either be positive command, infinitive, or gerund
Mm-hmm.
to be able to tag it on the end. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and we can look at that in a minute. Okay, so in this case, our verb from our sentence is conjugated. It's not a command. It's definitely not left alone as tirar, right, as the infinitive, and it's not tirando, so we know it's conjugated.
Mm-hmm.
So since this rule applies to all pronouns, it'll apply to both sets. So when we go to replace these, we know that both pronouns will have to come before the verb. Okay? And there's a rule that says that the indirect object pronoun will always come before the direct object. Even though they can be in any order in the sentence, when you put the two pronouns together, the indirect object pronoun always comes first. Okay? So we can rewrite the sentence replacing those with our pronouns that we chose. Yo, le comes first, then la, and there are spaces in between. Tiro. Okay? Simplified down to that. And technically, we don't really need this either because it's implied in the conjugation of the verb.
Mm.
Okay? And then there's another rule that says you can't lay low in Mexico. You heard that?
Yes.
Did you say that? Okay.
Será.
Right. So anytime there are two pronouns that start with L, whether they're plural or singular, you always change the first pronoun, which will always be indirect, to say. Okay? It
Got it.
just sounds better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you can simplify yo tiro la pelota a usted down to se la tiro.
Very nice.
Okay? That translates to I throw it to you.
So I guess when you're speaking really fast, the normal basic level, are you thinking this goes? I just, to me, it's just backwards. So do you just start thinking in that mode, or?
Yeah. It'll start to come natural when you practice using this rule.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, if you said tiro se la, that would just sound bad.
Okay.
It would sound, they'd probably mistake it for the command, positive command. Because the positive command form, throw it, would either be tira or tire, se la.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if we do tag them on the end like that, we have to write a written accent.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
this would be good.
Yeah. Because we've now added 2 additional syllables to our word, because there's no spaces.
Second to last.
Yeah, so the emphasis rule says that since it ends in a vowel, the emphasis should go here on the second to last syllable. But if we say this word by itself, tira, the emphasis is all the way back here on the I. Right? Before we added the pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want the emphasis to change just because we added the pronouns. So we'll write a written accent where
Cancel it.
yeah, to kind of cancel out the emphasis rule, just to show, hey, we don't want this emphasis to change from where it was.
Okay.
Tira se la.
Got it.
Okay, same here. Tire se la. Okay. Easiest way to remember where to put that is right before the R. On verb. Okay. So that's basically just so the emphasis doesn't change on you.
Alright.
But that's basically it. You use the pronouns to simplify the sentence out. And this NC-PIG rule is used to know where to place the pronouns.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?